Hi, friends. I'm Emily Lay, and you're listening to the Simplified podcast. If you're looking for a quiet place where you can filter out the noise and the hustle, this is it. Every week, I invite you to slow down and join me to explore practical ways to organize and automate the complicated parts of life so you can focus on what truly matters most. We are all about creating sweet and simple holidays right now at Simplified. Right now on our socials, Team Simplified is helping you make your holidays a little more simple with one 15-minute task at a time. These are really small and really doable things that'll help your heart and home get ready for the big season ahead. So follow along with us. You can find the Holiday Simplicity Challenge on Instagram and Facebook at Simplified and on TikTok at Simplified Planner. Stressing over what to bring to your holiday get-togethers? Well, Milk Bar's got you covered with treats that are always a crowd pleaser. And now you can ship Milk Bar's desserts nationwide. Just in time for Thanksgiving, for a limited time, Milk Bar is offering their delicious new pumpkin Milk Bar pie, apple cider donut cake, and apple cider donut truffles. And if you act fast, you can also get your hands on their seasonal lab drop, the pumpkin coffee cake, made in limited batches straight from their experimental kitchen. Right now, Milk Bar has a special limited time offer. Get $15 off any order of $80 or more when you go to milkbarstore.com/simplified. You'll get $15 off an order of $80 by going to milkbarstore.com/simplified. That's milkbarstore.com/simplified. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a wonderful day, because I know that you, just like me, are smack in the middle of the holidays right now. And you know what you need right now more than anything? A break. And the second thing you might need right now? A plan. If I've learned anything about holidays over the years, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or birthdays, it's that you can't leave celebrations up to chance. So much magic happens in the little moments of our holidays, the things that we could never plan. When the first snow of the season happens, when you're out caroling on Christmas Eve, or when you and your sister get into a flower-throwing fight when you're baking pies for Thanksgiving, or you're doubling over with laughter like you haven't since you were teenagers goofing off in the kitchen. That kind of stuff is priceless. But you know what creates the scenarios for those things to happen? What creates a day that feels a little less chaotic and a little more on purpose? A plan. And not even a big plan either. I am not talking a minute-by-minute itinerary of forced family fun here. I'm just saying that a little foresight into how your holiday is going to work will do wonders for making it a little more smooth. Like who's doing the cooking, who's doing the dishes, who's leading the family football game or turning on the AKC dog show or Macy's parade, when you're going caroling or watching your favorite movies, and all the things. You know this, of course. I know you're well-versed in making magic happen for your people. And hopefully someone has a little magic making for you in mind as part of their schedule, because you're worth some magic too. But sometimes we just need a refresher on how big a turkey you need to buy for 10 people, or what someone else's method is for storing a truckload of leftovers, or how to help the little ones have fun on a whirlwind day. Sometimes we just need a mama to tell us how to make the magic happen. And I'll tell you what, there's no one who can make magic happen like my own mom. And she's known around here as the one and only Nana. You guys love my mom. She joined us last year on episode 38, which is all about simplifying the holidays. She gave some of her best secrets last year about decorating and gift giving. And this year, she's back to break down how to create a seamless family gathering for whatever you're celebrating. There are so many beautiful holidays that families celebrate together this time of year. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Diwali, which happened just a few weeks ago. But today, Nana and I are going to talk about two holidays that we know best, which are Thanksgiving and Christmas. And listen, you can't plan for everything. Sometimes best laid plans go awry, and the best things happen that you never could have planned for. But you know me, when it comes to the special days, I always try to lay the groundwork for beautiful things to happen. I learned that from my parents, and especially my mom. So let's get to it. Here is my conversation about creating a sweet and simple holiday with my mom, Nana. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast again.
Sure, I love it.
So we've had, at this point, 90 episodes, and one of our most downloaded episodes was the last time you came on, which I think we talked about the holidays last time.
Now, I've listened to some while I've been walking, and you've got some good ones on there.
Oh, thanks. Okay, we're talking about the holidays, especially Thanksgiving, but at the end, we're going to talk about Christmas a little bit. So let's start by, I didn't prep you for this at all, but start by just telling us about like what were the holidays like for you as a kid, and what did you want it to be like for Brett? Brett's my brother, for anybody listening. What did you want it to be like when you had kids at home?
When I was growing up, it was always all the family came to our house and everybody brought something. And we had a big Thanksgiving dinner. And mom got out all of her fancy china and
She was so fancy.
tablecloths and her cloth napkins. She always said, if I'm going to go to all this trouble to cook this meal,
It's gonna be pretty.
that's
Isn't
right.
that the truth?
Yeah.
I love that. My grandmother, my mom's mom, was very fancy, and I strive to be fancy like her at Thanksgiving.
Then when y'all were young, we had like 20 people. Everybody came here for Thanksgiving and there were 20 people. And we were setting tables up all over the place on the back porch, in the great room, in the dining room, and the kitchen table, on the bar, everywhere. So we couldn't keep her fancy
Not with
going.
that many people.
No,
And when Brian and I lived in Tampa, we hosted Thanksgiving for his family. They lived down there, and when we moved home, we were so excited to host for our family. And so we literally, when we built our house, we had this idea of having a big long table on the back porch where we could sit everybody. And so nobody else can join the family because we don't have any more chairs, but it's so much fun.
they'll be at a kid's table.
Oh, okay. We did add a kids' table. It's still, by the way, that's still on my back porch from last year. Okay, so first things first, what is your number one tip for a stress-free Thanksgiving?
Plan, plan, plan.
I'm here for this.
I got 10 tips.
Okay, I love a list.
Yep. It depends on what your position is. Are you posting it? Are you bringing something? Are you going out of town? So if you're hosting it, then you need to think about where these people are going to be gathering. Pay some special attention to those areas when you're doing your cleaning and make sure just those areas. Don't go in there and clean out your closet. Just the areas.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, I know. I'm good too. That's what I'm doing now. But anyway, give some special attention to those areas when you're clean and look around and say, what can I take out of here? Because you're going to have more bodies in that house. So something's got to go out for
Yeah.
those bodies to fit in. Also, think about clearing off those flat surfaces so you can put food and drinks and whatever. You just want it when people are coming over to be comfortable. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it needs to be comfortable and needs to be clean. Another thing, you need to start checking your kitchen towels, your pot holders, your napkins, your placemats, or tablecloths, whatever you're going to be using. You use a lot more kitchen towels and pot holders on Thanksgiving and
Mhm.
Christmas than you do any other time. So make sure, they're clean, throw them in the washer, or maybe they need to be replaced, or maybe you need more. But make yourself a list and put it in your planner if you want to. Start looking at those things. Another thing is go to the dollar store and get some aluminum pans, like cake pans and lettuce pans and things like that.
Smart.
Get now before they disappear
Yeah.
and then send leftovers home on those. And if you're going to cook it all, good luck. Takes a lot of work.
My mom has already sent the group text with who brings what, who does what, prepare this and get ready for that. And it's like everybody has their marching orders, and it's great. So we all have time to get what we're going to do.
That's right. And there's a method behind that madness.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a minute. So start planning your menu. Ask your family, your friends, what they would like to bring. We do the traditional Thanksgiving dinner. We do it once a year. We don't have those foods any other time of year. Well, we might have turkey another time of year, but not a whole turkey. We all make the dressing. We don't, we just do that once a year. So the menu's pretty well set, and everybody loves it once and maybe the next day, but then we're done.
My family lives for the after Thanksgiving sandwich on Hawaiian rolls when you put everything on it.
Oh no, just the mayonnaise. That's the only time I like mayonnaise on a sandwich. But for us, once is enough and we're done. We freeze some of it to make things later. So go ahead and ask those people now what they'd like to bring. If they don't have any ideas, well, you can send them a recipe and say, hey, would you mind making this? Make sure everybody's going to bring something. Everybody wants to help. Nobody should be, saddled with that entire menu. It's a lot of cooking for one meal.
Yeah.
And then also they can start buying a few things as they go to the grocery store instead of going to the grocery store and buying everything. And you're out $350 or whatever it turns out to be this year. And just make sure that you store those foods someplace other than where your regular food is stored, or you'll use it by mistake, or somebody will come in and take it and eat it. And just make sure you put that somewhere.
Guard the canned cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do, because Brian Lay will eat a can of cranberry sauce.
He does. Then as it gets closer, you want to start checking your serving dishes and make sure you have enough. You and I both will lay everything out, put a sticky note in it and say, this is going there and this is going. But if people are bringing a dish, have them bring it in a serving dish, have them bring it hot, cooked, ready to go.
Ready to go.
They put it in a cooler, wrap some towels around it, because a cooler is going to keep it warm and you don't want it blazing hot anyway.
Right.
So that's going to free up your oven. I think one of the hardest things to do is walk into somebody's house and say, I need to bake this for 30 minutes and they've already got things in the oven. So go ahead and fix it at home and bring it and just be ready to eat close to when everybody gets there.
It makes it so easy.
Right. And if you don't have enough dishes or silverware or glasses, you can go to Goodwill. Don't go buying a bunch of fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Just, mix and match plates can look really nice on a plate. Also, print out your recipes, whether you're getting them online or bookmark them in your cookbooks, because the worst thing is saying, okay, how long do I have to cook this? And you got to go back and find the recipe. So print out those and have them ready to go. Also, and this was the biggest time saver and sanity saver for me, is make a plan, put down all the dishes that you're going to serve or people are going to bring, whatever, put everything out. Then put the cooking times, if you're doing them, and the temperature next to each. And then say, okay, which one needs to go in the oven first? Which one needs to go second? Can these cook at the same temperature?
And this is why I host and don't cook all the things. Because that sounds like an Excel spreadsheet.
No, I just write it down. It's on a tablet, and then I put it in my recipe box, and I pulled out the one from last year.
Yeah.
The last 2 years in there, I've thrown the other ones away, but I had the last 2 in there, and I just looked at last year's and I went, oh, here's what we're doing.
There you go.
Easy. And then the times and everything are right there because we use the same recipes. So those are my planning tips.
I love those. Are you in a gift-giving rut? Do you feel like you want to find a truly unique gift for someone that they'd never find anywhere else? Well, listen up, friend, because you need to check out Uncommon Goods. From art and jewelry to kitchen, home, and bar, Uncommon Goods has something for literally everyone on your list. And I have found some of the cutest gifts on their site. For a friend who likes all things mid-modern, I found this really cool wooden wine dispensing sphere. It's so cool. And for another friend who loves to read, I found a really cute library card tote bag, which is the best kind of throwback. Don't tell Brian, but I found these really cool kebab grill baskets where you don't have to fool with threading meat or veggies onto skewers. You just put your stuff in these little baskets and voila, you can pop them on the grill. And here's why I love shopping at Uncommon Goods. You're supporting artists and small independent businesses. It's just a win all the way around. So find some unique gifts for your people this year with Uncommon Goods. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/simplified. That's uncommongoods.com/simplified for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary. The Simplified podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you ever wished that life came with a user manual? I sure have, especially when I first had children. And definitely when I felt so burned out at work and haven't been sure how to move forward. It's so normal to feel stuck sometimes. Therapists are trained to help you figure out why you're feeling those challenging emotions and teach you ways you can cope with the discomfort. That's what going to therapy has done for me. And I'm not perfect at it by any means, but now I can recognize the flashing warning signs that say, hey, Emily, it's time to take 5 and care for yourself a bit. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It could not be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/simplified. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/simplified. So the way that our family does it, now that we're back home in Pensacola and we have my brother and his wife, Taylor, and their little girl, and then my mom and dad over, and then our whole crazy circus here, is I love to host. Like that's my spiritual gift is I love getting the house ready and setting the table and doing that. And then I'm usually in charge of like rolls and tea. Oh, and I make a pumpkin pie. So I make Brian's mom's recipe pumpkin pie. I make one for the family and one for Brian Lay to have by himself because that's just it's the tradition. But because I love hosting, I try every year to add one thing, one nice thing to my table setup. So I have the same table set up for Easter. I have the same table set up for Thanksgiving that I've had forever. And every year I try to like add something nice, whether it's a dish or, the turkey plates that we all eat on. Like one year that was the thing. We got the turkey plates. I think that was a Christmas gift. But that way you kind of like slowly build like a really nice collection of things and you're not, trying to spend $1 million to make a really nice tablescape one year.
It looks so nice and it just makes you feel good. And the one thing we have to be careful of, and we remind each other of this every year, but this year we got to, is what time does that sun start setting? Because one side of the table is going to get blasted with that sunlight.
That's true. That's true. We do get the sun on one side of our table. Another thing that we love to do is I think I get these from Simplified. I think we have a printable with these on them, but conversation starters. We print them out and we always get everybody crying. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. It makes the dinner so special and it draws it out so that once you're done eating, you're not rushing to clean up everything because then it's like, why did we do all that for 15 minutes?
Exactly. That's my favorite part of Thanksgiving. I'm not a big Thanksgiving meal fan. I mean, it's fine. I like it, but it's not the food. It's being together as a family and then doing those questions at the end. They'll
Yeah,
just air your heart out. I mean, it's just
they
so
are
good.
really good. I
So
think
good.
every year after Thanksgiving, we're all like, next year we're going out to eat or we're doing tacos or like what is, but then we come back around and we're like, no, it really is so special. It's once a year and it's so much fun. Okay. I do have a question that I often wonder about, and every year I have to Google it. But how do you know how big a turkey to get?
You take the number of people that you're going to serve. So for us, 10, and you multiply it by maybe 1.5 or 1.25, depending on how many leftovers you want,
Yep.
because everybody want a little bit of turkey. And that'll tell you. So for us, we're going to do between a 12 and 15-pound turkey.
There you go. Okay, what about leftovers? Like, how long can you keep leftovers in your fridge? How do you make space for them ahead of time? Do you have favorite containers? What's your favorite way to use them up?
First of all, can I go back to the turkey? Just I forgot to tell you this.
Yeah.
One of the worst things is when you're first starting out making turkeys is, oh, I'm just going to thaw this out overnight.
Oh.
No. I looked it up. It takes about 8 hours for each pound of turkey to defrost. So
Like an ice block.
you need that turkey in that refrigerator for, 3-4 days defrosting.
Yeah.
And don't unwrap it or you'll have a big mess. Just keep it all wrapped up and put it on a cookie sheet or a pan or something and stick it in your refrigerator. So don't.
I'm trying to remember. I think I've done this. I think I've had this very problem. When I moved out, my brother got all of the culinary ability DNA, And interest. Like I've just never really had the interest in it, but now I have like humans I have to feed, and I'll never forget. I don't know if I told you this story. I was making muffins for Brian one time, and I don't think we were married yet, but I was making him muffins because he was coming to visit, and I made them with olive oil.
Ooh.
I didn't know that there was a difference. Okay, cooking is hard for some of us.
All right. So what was the question that you asked me that I didn't
Oh,
address?
about leftovers. Like, how long can you store them? Do you like make space ahead of time? Do you have favorite containers? I do love the dollar store like tin idea because you can just throw those in the oven.
That's what I would store the leftovers for Thanksgiving in, just because we're only going to have them for 2 days and then they're gone.
Yeah. We are the same way. Like Brian would try to keep Thanksgiving leftovers for 2 weeks if he could because he loves that food. But we make a plan to have the Thanksgiving sandwiches the next day, and then maybe if we still have some left over, which we don't usually, the next day we'll do something with them. But then we call it a day. I do have a friend, Dusty on Team Simplified. She uses leftover turkey and gets a bag of mixed vegetables and makes turkey pot pie.
Yep, I've seen that. She
Sounds
makes
delicious.
a bunch of them at one time,
Yeah,
freezes them.
yeah, I was trying to remember how she does it. She like makes all the filling and then freezes it and then thaws it out when she's gonna make. Maybe I'll do that this year. Can you get a big turkey? My mom gets the turkey. I want a bunch of leftovers. Or I guess I could do turkey breasts.
Yeah, I don't like cooking a big turkey, a giant turkey. I
Yeah.
just think it dries out before it's finished. We don't stuff a turkey. We're in the South, so we make cornbread dressing.
Yeah.
I just think it takes so long and it seems to be dry. This year I'm gonna go to the flavor king of the family and
Yeah.
let help me with tweaking the dressing that we have from your moo and your grandpa.
My grandma, we
And
called her Moo.
yep, you named her.
Wait, you're gonna change Moo's dressing?
Just a little bit to add some flavor to it and
Oh, I
whatever.
have feelings about this.
It changes every year. When Grandpa was alive, she had passed away, and he would come over for Thanksgiving, and I'd say, "Did I nail it?" And he goes, "You're close,
I
but,
can hear him saying that. No, no, you didn't.
but you're
That's
not there.
right.
Keep trying, keep trying." I
Also,
know.
he would say, "Is this it? Is this all there is to eat?"
Yeah, the table is full. The bar was full, and now as far as leftovers, you can also make. I mean, whatever you use chicken for, just use turkey for.
Yeah.
Use the turkey and noodle soup, and you can freeze it, and then pull it out later. You know how you freeze a rotisserie chicken after you pull that meat, put that meat in the freezer, and
Call it a day. I saw a thing on Instagram yesterday. I think it was from the Lazy Genius. Do you follow her, Mom? She's great.
yes.
Kendra. So she posted that freezing is pausing food. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
that
that's
makes a lot
good.
of sense. It's pressing pause on food. That's what freezing is. And I was like, I've never thought about that. That's good.
Another main thing I thought of
Yeah.
those days before Thanksgiving. I have to tell you a story about my Thanksgiving experience when I was working.
Yeah.
I would wait, I would do things ahead of time, but I would do the main thing. This is when 20 people came to our house. I thought my house had to be clean right before everybody got there, that week. I thought I had to go to the grocery store that week, and I was working full time. I thought I had to make all the food. And I'll never forget cleaning the bathtub one night and just crying because I was so tired and I couldn't do anymore. And just, why is this so hard? It's because I didn't plan earlier.
Yeah.
Live and learn. But those 3 days before Thanksgiving, you need to have a freezer meal. You need to have pizza delivered.
Yeah.
And then you need to have your husband pick up something on the way home or take the kids somewhere and get them something to eat because
Yeah.
you can't cook those 3 days when you're doing all the other things. So make plans now. Have a bowl of cereal.
We had a friend a couple years ago come and stay, like hang out with our kids while I cooked because I was like, I can't. They're tiny and they're everywhere, and I'm supposed to be making food, and it was just a lot.
Well, that's a
Okay.
good thing to do when people come over, and everybody wants a job. How can I help?
Yeah.
Then you can say, here's a deck of cards. Here's a game. You want to go play games with the kids? I'll call you when it's on the table.
That's awesome. Need help finding holiday gifts kids will actually like? KiwiCo can help you give more than just gifts. They're here to show you how to give awesome. KiwiCo knows a thing or two about delivering moments of awesome. From robots to rocket ships, all their science and art projects are designed to spark fun and excitement. KiwiCo has 9 subscription lines for kids of all ages, so everyone can find something they're interested in. Tyler and Caroline have a subscription for the Kiwi Crate, which is perfect for kids ages 5 to 8, and they just learned how to make their very own arcade claw. Do you know how much I would have wanted that when I was their age? They made it all by themselves thanks to KiwiCo's excellent instructions, and y'all, they could not get enough of it. They've made a whole game out of picking up stuff around the house, and I could see this kid getting their engineering brains a good exercise. So give awesome this holiday with KiwiCo. Get your first month free on any crate line at kiwico.com/simplified. That's your first month free at kiwico.com/simplified. From curling and straightening to hairspray to over bleaching, we all have done some damage to our hair over the years. Between perms in the 90s and over highlighting in the 2000s, I still feel like I'm paying the price for following some crazy hair trends. So if you're like me and struggle to have longer and thicker hair after years of damage, you might have to give Vegamore a try. Vegamore has something for everyone looking to improve their hair health. The Grow Revitalizing Shampoo and Conditioner Kit works together to create visibly thicker hair and improve hair from the roots. Having Vegamore as my go-to shampoo and conditioner is a game changer for my overall hair health. I can tell it's so much stronger and thicker in a way it hasn't been since my teens. So don't let damage of the past hold your hair back. See your hair's full potential with Vegamore. Go to vegamore.com/simplified and use code SIMPLIFIED to save 20% on your first order. That's vegamour.com/simplified. Code SIMPLIFIED to save 20%. vegamore.com/simplified. On to Christmas, just really quickly. If you could dream up your ideal, sweetest, most wonderful Christmas that you could have, what would it be?
I've always wanted to go to a cabin
Ooh.
and just, maybe have some snow and be able to hike around the cabin and go, okay, let's just go and cut down a little Christmas tree and make things and just make it simple and make some decorations for it and,
Oh.
cook some food. I've always wanted to do something like that.
We don't get a white Christmas here in Florida.
I don't like anything except sand.
This is true. This is true. What about for people that Christmas can be a hard time for whatever reason, if they've lost someone or family's hard or whatever, what tips do you have for someone who finds the holidays to be a hard time, like to help them enjoy and make the most of it?
I remember when my dad passed away and my mom's first holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, we were going over to your other grandparents and she didn't want to go. She said no, she was just going to stay home. And I tried to talk her into going. And she was like, no, I'm not going to, I just want to be home alone. It's my first Thanksgiving. This is what I want to do. Please let me stay home.
Mm.
So when I talked to your dad's dad, when I went over there and said, she's not coming, he said, oh, yes, she is.
Got in the
Call
car.
her. I'm on the way and I'm
Oh.
coming to get her. And she cried. I mean, she cried and cried and cried because she missed him and she wanted to eat, but she had a great time. We reminisced about Thanksgivings in the past.
Mm-hmm.
My dad he loved to have a fancy dinner and he sometimes he would come out with a towel wrapped over his arm and be the waiter and, what can I get you? Can I get you something to drink? And,
Oh.
he was always the host.
I hate that I didn't get to he passed away when I was 2, and I wish to goodness I could have remembered that.
But I think if you can get them to join and go ahead and ask them questions about what Thanksgiving was like or, what they did that was special. And you can't hide it. You can't sweep it under the rug. So I think it's important to
Lean in.
them and yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay, this one, now we do rapid fire. So I have 4 questions I'm going to ask you, and you just spit out whatever comes to your brain. Ready?
Okay.
Favorite holiday of the year?
Christmas.
Same. Favorite Thanksgiving food?
This turkey sandwich the next day.
I was like, mashed potatoes? A Christmas song you would turn the radio up for?
All the kids' songs, because that was my entire life.
I was a teacher forever.
And I love all the kids' songs.
One thing you're especially grateful for this year?
Besides family, I think it's our health.
I thought that was going to be your answer.
We have worked so hard this year. We kind of took a real downward turn during the first year of COVID. And the only thing I could figure out to do was to cook and to bake. So that's what we did, because we didn't go anywhere and we didn't see anybody. So we tried new recipes and we were always, well, that didn't work out too well. So I went to the doctor and had some blood work done, and it was borderline for everything. And I'm like, okay, we're fixing this. So for the past year, we've been on a health journey, and it's true what they say. Be careful what you eat and make sure you exercise.
But you've had like a literal transformation, and it's been slow and steady, which I'm so proud of you for. It was not.
It's been so slow.
Yeah.
So slow. But you know what? I think we're in a habit now. We walk every morning. We walk in the evening. We were really mindful. I did one of those sensitivity tests and found out that I was highly sensitive to wheat, but we've cut those things out, and we're very mindful of how much sugar we have. That's been key, because I love to bake and I love to eat what I bake. If we do it, we take it to somebody. So
good. Yeah, you bring it to my house. Good job, Mom. Thanks for coming on here, Mom. Yeah, I love your tips. You're awesome.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I love having my mom on here. I know these things and have learned these things from my mom over the years because she's my mom. But I just think it's so fun to bring her to everyone because she has so much to share and so much experience. And she really is an amazing teacher at heart. She taught school for 38 years. And I just love having her on here so that we can learn. As we close out this episode, I'd like to say a blessing for you as we leave this time together to get back to our days. As you turn your heart toward the holiday season, I hope you find meaningful ways to connect with your people. I hope you find magic in the small moments, like sharing a laugh with your dad, baking cookies with your brother, and playing board games with your nieces and nephews. And above all, I hope you remember that holidays don't have to be big or expensive or garner 1,000 likes to matter, because we find meaning when we relish the love and relationships we share in the moment. As always, I like to leave a little tip to help you put what we've talked about today into practice. So here's your task for this week. After you're done with a big holiday meal, do you find yourself with a bunch of random leftover veggies? A little ramekin of corn, a bowl of green beans, some peas and carrots and potatoes? Do those ever get eaten, or do you find yourself throwing them out? If you want to stretch your leftovers even further, and you want to make a big recipe that'll feed your people for a while, try making soup. It might not be a conventional soup, but I bet it can be delicious. Get a big pot, throw in some oil, saute some onions until they're translucent, then add all your leftover veggies and stir them around for a minute or two until they're warm and a little browned. Then add some broth and some leftover meat you made, if that's your thing, maybe some turkey or ham. Then maybe add some salt, pepper, garlic, let it all simmer till the flavors come together, and then congrats. You have made an easy, delicious soup. You can even add a little cream to make it a little richer if you want. This will go great with the leftover rolls you have, and at that point, you've basically made a pot pie. And you know who likes pot pie? Everybody. Thank you for listening to the Simplified podcast. I hope today's episode gave you a few ideas for planning a holiday that's simple and meaningful for you and your people. You can find show notes for this episode at emilylay.com/podcast, where you can check out links and resources I mentioned here, and you can shop the Simplified brand of planners and products. And don't forget to pick up your copy of my new book, Sure as the Sunrise, right now wherever you buy books. I hope you're loving this show. I know I love making it for you. And the simplest way you can enjoy it is to subscribe to the show so it'll pop right into your phone without you having to think about it. Talk about automated. And while you're subscribing, it's easy to rate the show and leave a review while you're there. That helps this show get to other people who might enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for doing that. Till next time, thanks for listening. Bye.